Let them sing. Deep imagination. What's going on with the connection? We have Mr. Len joining us in the next. Seems to be a problem on the other side.
Second, we must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as in any titled civilian political arrangement that is, will perpetuate injustice. The wave-crossing part of Africa does not demonstrate favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problem. Let us dig it deeper. Regarding Niger, we are negotiating with the military leaders.
Negotiation.
As chairman of ECOWAS, I seek to help establish democratic governance in a manner that addresses the political economy challenges confronting that nation, including violent extremists who seek to foment instability in our region. I extend a hand of friendship to all of you who may genuinely support this mission for a democratic government.
All right. So we'll wait and see what's going to be the outcome of that soon. So we're having technical problem back to the studio, so I'm not sure what's going on. So we have to wait a little bit. Wait a little bit and see what's going on. There seems to be a problem from the studio. For the connection. We have to wait for the connection. Wait a little bit. Yes, boss. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay then. All right. All right. That's fine. All right.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. My sincere apologies that we're having a bit of a technical hitch there, so we cannot see Yomi visually. So whilst we are trying to, the technical team are trying to get the visual on, let us just go straight to him. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and a very good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And welcome once again to the morning show.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
Well, it's a bit of wind, all over the place. So it seems, if we are out and about, just like I have done already this morning, let us take some precaution. It seems the weather is much of a wind, but apart from that, I'm doing very well, and it's great to be back, especially when it's a Wednesday, and then we'll be back again in the evening for the Niger Voices.
Of course. Good. Now let's crack on, because I was telling listeners that on Wednesdays we start from a default position where we are pressed with time. But this morning we're going to make sure that we bring you everything that you need to know. So first and foremost, let's come to let me say good morning to Shamsuddin as well. I hope you are doing very, very well, my brother. And thank you very much for joining in as well. So let's move on straight to some of the stories that is making the rounds this morning from Nigeria. Tinubu's we knew that Atiku and Obi were embarking to the Supreme Court. Now they've gone there, and they have got now 86 grounds appeal. And we have the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, which have also said that, they've also given, how many days? 2 days for the court to release, that the university should release the details of Tinubu's certification at that university. So can we make both, and then let's hear what you have for us, please?
Well, you're quite right. As the election continue, it seems both the two other candidates of the presidential election of February 25th have now, filed a 86 ground appeal at the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court has 2 months to decide and make a final verdict on whatever the appeal is going to come up to. But barely just 2 weeks, we were discussing the outcome of the presidential election petition tribunal that actually affirmed the victory back again to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the February 25th poll. But it seems that the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, both Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, have now filed an 86 ground of appeal at the Supreme Court. And you're quite right, as much more development is coming. Atiku, as we know, is now still pushing together, the record from the Chicago University. It seems that has been, I'm not sure what Atiku really wants to get out of this, but it seems that he's not backing down. And I could say now that the United States Court have now ordered the Chicago University to release Bola Tinubu's record to Atiku Abubakar within the next 48 hours. Certified authenticity under oath as well. What does that really mean, and how does it, imply to the current ground of the appeal to the Supreme Court? The Nigerian opposition leader said that the document will be used as part of its ongoing push to demonstrate that Bola Tinubu is ineligibility to be a Nigerian president. That is coming from Atiku Abubakar, that has now landed a major victory. But like I said, these two still means that maybe Atiku will be able to produce this document when that document has been received in the next 48 hours. Then, whatever is going to be the outcome, whether that will be used to determine whether Tinubu is still eligible. Because the question is, as Bola Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, given a genuine result? And let us remind ourselves that we are not talking about the result that has just been presented today. Remember that Bola Tinubu was the first governor after the democracy came back, in 1999. So are we now saying that, would this literally mean that maybe it's not the only person that has a kind of we don't know yet until that document comes out. But if he has been using the same document 2 times, that literally means that it's going to be a kind of new game change in the politics in Nigeria today?
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one. But again, I sincerely apologize for not having Yomi's image. We can only hear his voice. The technical team are working on that. But as we go on, let's see what we have there. But Yomi, interestingly, I'm looking at it. What does Atiku really want to achieve by that? What's the point of contention there? Is it that when it comes to the constitution of Nigeria, what should be the qualification for a president?
Well, it's not about the qualification. It's about whether, Bola Tinubu has lied under, his current documents out of the university. I mean, it's going to show a lot of things. Let's go and ask question. If Bola Tinubu has been presenting himself as somebody that finished in 1978, and the document now will indicate something else, does that literally imply that so it's all about what actually was there in that university that is different from the one that Bola Tinubu is presenting. That is the the ball of the contention of these legal case that Atiku has been pushing. But remember again that Atiku, Mr. Atiku said the document will be used as part of his ongoing challenge against Mr. Tinubu's election. So it's not about whether Tinubu was qualified as. Remember that even the former president Muhammadu Buhari hardly had any kind of qualification. We couldn't even find his qualification at some point. So it's not about the qualification. It's about some of the details surrounding that result itself.
Okay. Well, let's see what that will do, because with the 86 charges that have been leveled against the president now, I don't know how all that is going to be panning out. But listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're moving on straight to the US, where in the UN General Assembly, the President Tinubu has made his first speech as a president of Nigeria. Now, interestingly, he talks about given the extent of this injustice and the high stakes involved, many Africans are asking whether the phenomenon is being asked by accident or by design, where member nations must reply by working with us. I mean, he's talking about the fact that we have the advanced countries. Let me put it so I don't mean yes, I'm not going to say the Western world, of the advanced countries where they are all just coming in raking the resources of the what do you call it? The nations, African nations, and he's saying that is not on. Yomi.
Well, you're quite right. Like I said yesterday, later on this evening, I'll be doing more comparison to what the president said and what Buhari said at his first outing at the United Nations General Assembly. And then we'll be looking at the reaction as well. There's been a lot of reaction. The president spoke for less than 20 minutes, and you're quite right. A lot of things were discussed. The Niger issue was also discussed at that particular United Nations. He spoke very late. Maybe the timing again. The president spoke just as many Nigerians. Again yesterday, Nigerians went into darkness because of the electricity grid that collapsed. So I'm not sure that many Nigerians were picking up what the president was saying, but probably maybe this morning. But let's hear from another angle. Remember that the Niger coup, as the chairman of ECOWAS, there has been a push, for ECOWAS to go into Niger. That has literally slowed down, but the president actually said this at that event.
Niger, negotiating with the second, we must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as in any titled civilian political arrangement that is will perpetuate injustice. The wave-crossing part of Africa does not demonstrate favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problems.
Well, what are the perennial problems? A lot, like I said, was discussed, and as a first outing of the president, let's look at some of the, the response back from so many Nigerians. How I wish someone can actually buy thunder. I don't know what they're going to need the thunder for. This is coming from at mayor_Swisnin. This one says they play. After stealing power, you want to make we listen to you. Never. Again, this individual went on to say, election coups are wrong in all ramification. And again, this one says they play.
Okay. Were we having a sound bite?
No, come back. No, well, I mean, come back again to you in the studio.
Yeah. Well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK updates from Nigeria with Ms. Olami Koiko on this Wednesday edition of the morning show. But whatever we are discussing, don't you worry at all. This evening, we'll be having the Niger voices and be able to make your comments, and you'll be having the whole picture. But now we're just scratching the surface for you. Now let's come to the former president Buhari and the first speech that has been made by Tinubu on the world stage. Let me put it that way. On the world stage, that's in the UN General Assembly. So, matching it with him. Now, he had not been or had not used force to take power before. Let me put it that way. But we have Buhari, who was a former military leader who metamorphosed into a civilian person and ran for a presidency, okay? Who just gone out. So, we're looking at it, and if Tinubu is saying that, look, we don't want coup d'etats as a phenomenon on the continent, the question is, what makes people decide to overthrow governments, a democratically elected government? Yomi.
Well, a lot of things, literally comes up for the when we've seen elections was manipulated in Gabon, and that literally led to a military junta taking over. We saw the same thing in Nigeria, but you're quite right. This is a president that has not, hijacked the government compared to Buhari that actually, took the power from a civilian administration of Shagari. But as times have evolved, and Buhari was presented to Nigerians as the good guy that can transform and change a lot of things from the security to the economic, we've now found out that more problem was still happening even after, the president has left. But again, continuity is what they say is the government. I've looked at another part of, what Tinubu, said at that particular UN outing yesterday. If Nigeria is to fulfill its duty to its people, which is Nigerians and the rest of Africa, we must create jobs, and they believe in a better future for our people. We must also lead by example. I think, there's a lot of message there. Lead by example, future for the people, and also duty for Nigerians. And that question, is he going to be able to put that in place, as we know that there's so much problem on the ground right now? He also talked about the foster economic growth, investors' confidence. Will investor come into the country when there's insecurity? When there's also can be, power can be taken off. Yes, we know that there's not indication yet, but we saw that, towards the election when there was a lot of, messages coming out that the military might take over. Even Atiku Abubakar at some point, was linked to such information. But we realize that nothing of such has happened yet. Will investor, wants to go to a country where eventually, the military take over and everything can be on a standstill, just like we are seeing it played out, in Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Gabon. Think about so many of the investors, especially from those countries that they believe that are part of the problem, like France in Niger, and the same thing goes with some of those countries that power has been removed from military to the civilian and the other way around as well. So it seems that the president has, his first task is to stabilize the economy of Nigeria, create more jobs, allow investors to come in. All these, will he be able to do so with a time limit, especially with the debt? Remember that we talked about the debt yesterday. Nigeria is really servicing more of the income, using that to service the debt.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:30 the time. Just a quick one. So what have Nigerians said about comparing the statement or the speech of Tinubu to Buhari? I mean, just a quick one there, because we know that this evening we are going to have a detailed look at that.
Well, like I said, the Buhari gave a lot of hope, and that hope has literally died down, with the momentum from Bola Tinubu. So it seems that, when Buhari was coming back, the message of hope, change, was brought into the environment, and a lot of Nigerians believed that it was coming to really bring them the hope. But as much as Nigerians, with the election that took place this particular time, we've seen that many Nigerians are still not satisfied that Bola Tinubu is the president, even though the court has said so, and that literally is creating a lot of problem as well.
Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK. Again, let me apologize for Yomi not being seen. When I say not being seen, the pictures not being seen there. We have a technical glitch there, so just bear with us. That's why we have the voice over only. But I'm going to Yomi for the rest of the story that's making the rounds of what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, Dangote Refinery import crude as the NNPCL swaps oil for loans. That is coming as well. More youths were out again yesterday, protest for the death of Mohbad, and as we continue to wait for outcome of investigation from the Nigerian police in Lagos State as well. It seems, again, let's go straight to the business, and then we go straight into the social media because of the time constraint this morning. Government to invest $20 billion in the power, and they are targeting 20 megawatt by 2026. Like I said yesterday, Nigeria was thrown into darkness again as the grid collapsed as well. The J crisis will put pressure on the Nigerian food market. This is actually coming from the World Bank. The coup d'etat in the J may put additional pressure on Nigeria and the other West African nations' food market, the World Bank has said. Remember that the current crisis between Russia and Ukraine is also already creating a lot of problem when it comes to the food, because of the amount of wheat coming from that region, and because Russia now has come up from the Black Sea agreement. And I was actually listening yesterday that even Ukraine is now finding it difficult as they have to move their grain through the road, and it seems that the country bordering them doesn't want to accept it, and I think is actually taking that to court. So according to the World Bank, the Global Bank, the Nigerian coup d'etat is now going to put an additional 7 million people at risk of falling into the severe food insecurity in the region, against the backdrop of the soaring commodity staple food prices and the severe food insecurity that is already affecting 3.3 million people during the lean season. So again, according to this, we just have to hope that situation can be resolved. But it seems already that, as you heard from the president, coup is not going to be allowed within that region. So that literally means that more Nigerians and more Nigerians, both sides will have to suffer that. Again, we take one more and then head straight into what is happening as well on the social media this morning. Once again, investors gained 264 billion as the Nigerians sustain bushy runs. Court of Governance name urged the federal government. The Nigerian Institute of Management has charged the federal government to reduce the cost of governance in the country to actually reflect the current economic reality. Remember that we talked about them last week. The president and the chairman of the NAME Council, Mrs. Christina Atako, stated this at the 2023 ANA National Management Conference that was held yesterday in Lagos State. While the masses are tightening their belt because of the ongoing economic policy, it is only moral and rational that those in government make a conscious effort to reduce the cost as well. We're still waiting for the NLC. We're not too sure what is going to be the outcome. The deadline is literally just around the corner. But it seems that so far we refuse to join the NLC. This is from the TUC. So again, between the two bodies, there is already a kind of disunity among them. The Trade Union Congress known as the TUC, has now shed light on the circumstances around the 2 weeks warning strike initiated by the Nigerian Labour Congress. These two are meant to be, working for the masses, but it seems that the two are already having some kind of headlocks already. Naira Marley is still trending. There's much pressure. Chicago State University is trending at about 21,000 this morning. It seems the biggest trending in Nigeria as of today is the justice for Mohbad. That is about almost 163,000 K view. Again, yesterday we saw from Abeokuta. There's going to be a night vigil later on tonight, from what we have been told. There's going to also be, there was also some protest at Ekiti State, and likewise at Akure, where some of our reporters on the ground did cover that. I'll come back again to you in the studio, but later on tonight, the focus will be the United Nations General Assembly outcome and what more can be done to stop the menace of cultism in Nigeria.
Well, listeners, you want to know more, make sure that your dials are logged on Star Radio UK this evening, exactly like 18 hours BST, or in Nigeria local time 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. GMT +1. Yes, you will be able to join in the conversation. But Yomi, a quick one there, very, very interesting. Dangote has set up his refinery in Nigeria, but Nigeria is a crude oil producing country, and now Dangote had to import crude oil from outside to come to the country with the scarce foreign exchange that we are talking about.
Well, everything goes, like you say, in Nigeria. Yes, you're quite right. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is currently importing crude oil and expect its first crude oil cargo in 2 weeks. Let's also remind ourselves that, this is a refinery that is also going to refine on behalf of other countries, within African countries as well, just like Nigeria sent its own crude oil for refine as well. But again, according to the executive director of Dangote, Edwin has revealed, although the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited trades crude oil on behalf of Nigeria, Edwin, in an interview with the SP Global Commodity Insight yesterday, said the NNPCL had committed its crude to other entities. And the Dangote Refinery Board does not disclose the other entity receiving the oil company crude, but the NNPC disclosed that last month, that it had entered into a $3 billion crude oil for loan deal with African Import Bank. The deal allowed the company to pledge future oil production to the bank as part of our repayment to the loan that we took from them. Also, the NNPC also told the media yesterday the company had entered into crude oil contract with so many numbers of entities. So that literally means that we are paying our loan back by giving them crude oil as well. So Dangote will still have to continue to work out how they will need about 370,000 barrels per day for production, when, according to Edwin, went ahead to state that the firm will begin the production of up to 370,000 barrels per day of the crude that will give them the rights to automotive gas oil, popularly called diesel, and the jet fuel by October. So again, for the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, the Dangote boss said the plant will produce it by November ending.
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one. So by the time the production is done, the cost per liter will be high because he's importing the crude oil to the country to do so. If he was buying it, the shipment would have been cut, and that would have brought the price down.
Yeah.
See?
It seems the country is committed so much to so many entities, especially with the loans that we've taken out. So that means that we have to rely, Dangote will have to rely on more export of his crude, pending the time there's going to be a proper arrangement between him and the federal government of Nigeria.
Okay. Yami, let me say thank you very much. As you said, this evening, Niger Voice is coming on exactly at 18 hours EST.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that...
Well, sorry about that, everyone. We couldn't bring you the, the transmission due to the fact of sometimes we have technical problems as well. So we just have to accept it. I'm not going to stay long. It's a busy Wednesday, and I don't want to be caught up. There's so much to discuss later on, with the Niger Voices. But for now, we're just going to say thank you so much for as many of you that have joined us. It's been a very busy 24 hours for me. That's why I couldn't come out yesterday and this morning as well. But our team are working. At least I'm sure a lot of you. It's around videos to one produce Lati location 419 in terms of the work that we do on the ground. So the teams are working. We had our reporter covering Mobad protest yesterday. I think Ekiti at Akure, yeah. I'm aware that there's a lot going to be happening later on today. I'm not sure how that is going to work. But our own focus remains Yoruba Nation. So that is the most important thing. Anybody that is still expecting justice for Mobad without talking about Yoruba Nation, you're probably wasting your time. The only justice that we need now is to get the hell out of Nigeria so that we can be able to have a better opportunity for ourselves, the next generation, but the back on them why justice for Mobad Nikon, see Soro Nipa Yoruba Nation, you're wasting your time. The only justice that we can ask for is to get the hell out of Nigeria. That is the only justice. Any other thing is a waste of time, is a waste of energy. So, because it's not about justice for Mobad. And sort of Mobad, do you know how many people have been killed in Nigeria? By probably another 2 weeks, everybody will just go with their life. A lot of you have seen most of your videos on the Twitter and TikTok, and especially TikTok. I think there's a lot of engagement there. I woke up in the morning, you go there, people are there, deliberating, talking. But most of you, if you saw the dissolution of Nigeria and you want justice for Mobad, well, I don't know how you're going to get that justice as long as Nigeria is still operating. I don't know how you're going to get the justice. I don't know how you're going to get that justice, because the only justice we need is to wind down Nigeria. But as you can see, many of you are not interested in that. You are more interested in one particular area when we should wind it down completely. So we will continue the campaign. We will continue the awareness. I think, which is the most important thing, it's all about the awareness. We've been talking about it for 3 years, but it seems many of you still believe that something is going to change in that contraction you call Nigeria. Nothing is going to change. You can read the lines. You can read the lies that have been told from the headlines. They're going to provide 20,000 megawatts of electricity by 2026. That's just less than 3 years from now. Everybody knows it's a lie. It's not going to happen, because you don't have the money and you don't have the investors to come and invest in the power sector. So if they're telling you all these, it's just to keep you quiet. That's what they love to do. The politicians are very good at that. So Bubuntoma calm Nigeria down. You can see that the Nigerians will get hype up, and then later on everybody just go their separate ways. But we will not stop. So asking me what is the update about Yoruba Nation, you go and check on my platform so that you can be able to know. You're probably just whining yourself. The federal government, in a bid to boost electricity and generation, we invest 20. But in federal government, very 20 billion. They don't have the money. It's all lies. There's no money anymore in Nigeria. Crude oil often subsidized and insane. So rather than asking for one justice, we should be asking for justice for the Yoruba people and wind down that messed up country. Nigeria is not going to be fruitful. Does not matter how much you want it to be fruitful. It's never going to be fruitful. There's just too much problem currently in Nigeria. But again, we have told you, but some of you expect Tinubu to come and do the magic. We wait and see. We wait and see. But we will be here to remind you that Yoruba Nation is the final solution. Dissolution of Nigeria is the final solution. It's either it goes peacefully or the other way around. But we hope it goes in a peaceful way. Konshawa nikoni lambere fun right wa. But again, many of you need to understand that that country is just too big to take care of every one of us. It's too big. I've just done a video. I'm going to be posting it later on because I got to go now because I got a lot of things to do behind the scene, and I'll probably come back later. The visa fee is going to be increased from October 4th. We'll do a video on our Lori page or later on today. So once again, we are here to remind you all the time. Lori TikTok. Chinese Loni TikTok, okay? Maybe some of you don't know that. A lot of your data is also being accumulated. It is owned by China and Chinese Loni, and it's not what they're using it for in China. In turn, in China, but it's again, every little thing, we don't use it the right way and the appropriate way. So I wish you in Nigeria that are asking for justice for Mohbad, I'm waiting. Remember that we've never got justice since 1960 as Yoruba people. So you think the same set of criminals in government will give you that justice? You're not going to get that justice. But I'll be here to remind you. I've told you, Bola Tinubu is not the savior of Nigeria. It's just also the puppet of the West. On Yoruba, sorry, but they're not going to tell you. He's working for the West. He's not going to attack Nigeria anymore because America or Niger coup or coup. America drone base to the operation in Niger. That's the world we're living. Believe everything you see from the West. You are already gone. You are half dead. If you believe everything that you see, on the news, you are actually half dead. We are the alternative news. Intahabaso is the only confirmation. You listen to others, it's just to distract your mind and to distract your heart. And there's a lot of false hope. There's a lot of what are called things to divert your mind. So you have to go and look at it from the astrologic aspect. One F-35 jet, Osono. I've read the news. They've seen the crash scene. Again, there's something also popped up in UK. That I will have to explain that, not in a rush. But it's another flag hope. Egboni last week, don't sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ajá, but my band àwọn ajá kan. On my band ajá in UK. Kò ń ṣajá yẹn gangan ni of a band. It has another message behind it. So don't expect them to speak the same language. Everything in this world is decoded. Everything is decoded. And Bola Tinubu is just going to work for them, just like Buhari did. And it will go, and that will be it. So I got to go now. Thank you so much. I'll be back at 6 o'clock, fully prepared for the program. And on that note, thank you so much. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.